Jano. I'll be teaching you the economic subject from part B, that is Indian economic development. So today we'll be discussing the first chapter, that is Indian economy on the eve of independence. So before we move on this chapter, let me give you a brief highlight about this book. So the primary objective of this book, Indian economic development, is to familiarize you with the basic features about our present day Indian economy. But it is equally important to know our country's economy past. So today we will be learning our Indian economy before we got our independence, that is prior to 1947. So the structure of present day Indian economy has its roots, particularly when the British was under India was under the colonial British rule. So there was a sole purpose, primary motive behind the British rule in India. The first reason behind the sole purpose behind the British rule in India is to turn India a mere raw material supplier. It means we Indians will become a mere raw material supplier to the Great Britain, because during that time Great Britain was rapidly expanding their industrial base. The second reason behind behind the British colonial rule in India was to turn India a final consumer of their British finished product. So these are the main two reasons behind the primary motive behind the colonial rule in India. Next topic we will be learning is the reason behind the low level of economic development during the colonial rule. Now let us first learn about before the British rule. So India had an independent economy even the British came to our country. It was said that even though most of our majority population was dependent on agriculture, India was well known for its handicraft industries in the field of cotton, silk, textile. After the British came, the economic policies pursued by the Britishers has drastically changed our Indian economic structure. Here, what did the British do here is they focus more on their promotion and the protection of their home country economy, that is Great Britain, rather than focusing on our Indian economy. So that is the colonial government never made any sincere attempt to measure our national income and per capita income. When I talk about national income and per capita income, these are one of the main two indicators to see our country's economic development. But during the British colonial rule, the British government never made any sincere attempt to measure such income. Ultimately, this led to our country's low level of economic development. Who try to estimate national income and per capita income during the colonial rule. So those individuals who try to attempt national income and per capita income are Tadapai Naroji, Findlay Shiras, V.K.R.V. Rao, and R.C. Desa. So these are the 5 individual notable economists who try to measure our national income and per capita income during the colonial rule. That we'll be discussing here is agriculture sector. Here in agriculture sector, we will learn the reason behind the stagnation of agriculture sector during the colonial rule. So India's during the colonial rule was fundamentally agrarian economy. About 85% of the country's population were dependent their livelihood on agriculture. But despite being a large occupation of many population, there was a huge stagnation and deterioration in agriculture sector under the colonial rule, under the British rule. We will be learning the reason behind the stagnation of agriculture sector under the colonial rule. The first reason behind the stagnation of agriculture sector is due to land settlement system. What does it mean by land settlement system? Land settlement system, particularly under the Zamindari system, which was implemented by the 10th Bengal presidency, which comprises of the present India's mostly of the eastern state. The profit occurring out of the zamindars, profit occurring out of the cultivators went only to the zamindars instead of the cultivators. Here, the main intention of the zamindars was only to collect rent regardless of the economic condition of the cultivators. So this leads to the immense miseries and social tensions among the cultivators. So that was the first reason behind the stagnation of agriculture sector. The second reason behind the stagnation in agriculture sector is lack of technology. Unlike today, where we had a lot of technology in agriculture sector, during the British colonial rule, there were no modern technology for the development of agriculture. Farmers during that times were totally dependent on the monsoon season. So that is the second reason behind the stagnation in the agriculture sector. The third reason behind the stagnation in agriculture sector is lack of irrigation facilities. We have ample of irrigation facilities. Here, during that time, there was a negligible and limited use of fertilizers and limited irrigation facilities in the agriculture sector. This is also another reason behind the stagnation in the agriculture sector. The fourth one, the last one, this is a very important point under this agriculture sector, is due to commercialization of agriculture. What is this commercialization of agriculture? Commercialization of agriculture, it means production of crops more for the market purpose rather than for self-consumption. Here, during the British colonial rule, the farmers focus more on the production of their crops for the market rather than for the self-consumption. So that is the reason why during the British colonial rule, the farmer produced more of cash crops like cotton, silk, textile, because ultimately these cash crops were needed by the British government in their home country for industrial development. So they focused more on producing the cash crop rather than the food crops. So this is the reason behind this is the last reason behind the stagnation in agriculture sector. These are various reasons, that is land settlement system, lack of technology, lack of irrigation facilities, and commercialization of agriculture. These are the various reasons behind the stagnation in agriculture sector. The last one that we will be discussing here is industrial sector. Here, just like in agriculture sector, the industrial sector also does not progress much. Here, the reason behind is, I'll move again to the first talk, is the reason behind is we India have become a mere raw material supplier to the Great Britain. Second is, we focus more on consuming of the British goods rather than focusing more on our traditional handicrafts. So these are ultimately the various reasons why our industrial sector did not grow. In industrial sector, it was found that there was a huge decline in handicraft industries. Here, when there was a decline in the handicraft industry, there was a huge, massive unemployment occurred during the colonial rule. So ultimately, British took advantage of our decline in handicraft industry, and they promote and they focus more on producing more of their British goods to our country. So that's all for today. See you in the next video. Until then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.